Yo, I do not know how you are making these comments because I don't even be live, so I don't know what's going on. Keep it 100. So I'm gonna check one more time, and like I said, if it ain't working this time, people just gonna have to watch on something other than Facebooks because I'm ready to get this party started. So we should be good on the YouTubes. Maybe. Yep. So we're good on YouTube. Chase Facebooks. Nope. And I'm moving on with my life. You ain't live. I don't know. And then we're gonna start TikTok because I'm not about to drive myself crazy. You know, Streamlabs be Streamlabbing sometimes. You did. I appreciate you watching though. You know, Streamlabs be Streamlabbing sometimes. You did. I appreciate you watching though. You know, Streamlabs be Streamlabbing sometimes. Come on now. You did. Let me show you shit. You watching though. You know, Streamlabs be Streamlabbing sometimes. Come on now. You did. Let me show you shit. You watching though. You know, Streamlabs be Streamlabbing sometimes. All right, so I'm about to start TikTok, and we're gonna move on with our lives. Hopefully you're still there. We're gonna see in a minute. That is my. Yeah, I realize I'm probably gonna bring that picture behind me down a little bit. That thing up a little too high. Thursday Night Book Club. Choose chat and interview. All right, cool. Now we got TikTok set up. Oh, I know, right? I don't know where. Hold on. There better be some time. Let me check. Hello. Okay, yeah. Sam. Yeah, I don't. I know I want to keep David in the picture too, but I sit on this corner, and I don't know how I gotta listen. I don't put. Oh no, because I keep going on and off. So like, it seems like it seems like you be posting when I'm offline, but you actually be posting when I'm online, and it's just delayed. So everybody, oh my God, everybody else is gonna have to catch us how we catch us. Put this shit in. Going with the fire red tonight. You having a good day at work? Cut that light out. I hope so. Like I said, girl, you gotta start pretending to have them smoke breaks. Act like you one of the smokers. And they be trying to give you passes. I don't have my water set up, so I'm thirsty already. Oh, well, you know, slow days can be difficult days, but it's better than working yourself to death. So, thank you. Thank you, because I thought you weren't gonna ever be able to see it again, which was gonna be tragedy. until you got a new shift or something. I got the disco lights on tonight too. Let me see. Let me see. I can show you. What that thing at? Yeah, we disco tonight. Live and direct. And I did a new setup with the lights and stuff too, so I can include that. Man, listen, I love some cold water. It makes me look like, man, other people don't like it, but I love it when it's cold. So I wind up guzzling the hell out of cold water. Let me see. So, yeah, I ain't even show you. Okay. Boom. I got that on red. You know what? Give me a second, because I got to turn on one more light. Boo-doo-boo. I actually did think about sitting on the other side so we can get the David Ruffin one, but I don't know. I could flip my what is this called? My sectional. I could flip it around, but I'm over here acting lazy. Keep it real. Don't feel like doing that at all. All right, so is that it? Boom, 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 boom. TikTok, I hope you here. Hope you enjoying yourself. We're about to start reading before I let go. Yeah. See, I like this. This the what I'm trying to go for on Tuesday night, but I can't get it right yet. I think I need one of them light boxes, which I'm gonna get so it don't have that. All you see is circles and people glasses and whatnot. Do. Oh no. Oh, that is just a little to go. It's a little like it bright. You dig? All right, Lo Siento. Trust me, the family will miss you. Don't work too hard. All right, people. That's one of my regular guests and friend in real life. So they used to be able to come to every show. They wound up really just getting a new schedule. And the new schedule doesn't allow for them to come to every show like they used to. So I did want to hit my bowl for a second. I feel like I hadn't been using my voice the way I need to this week. It's actually been a quiet week, which I'm glad because I had a training earlier and it got canceled. So that was extra crump. And I was super happy about that because I was tired. I think I stayed up a little too late playing games and bull jiving and doing healing and yeah, so I know tonight I'm gonna sleep like a ton of bricks. Give it a second. There you go. I gotta wait till it get loud. That's how I know my energy ain't balanced yet till it start getting loud. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just got a text. And too bad you can't see me tell you I appreciate it, but I do. All right, let's see where we are in the story. Again, we're reading Before I Let Go. So make sure you get you a copy and read along too. Do. Where we at? Not now. Later. All right, so I think we are at the soccer game. Yeah, no, we are at Kasim soccer game, and Deja is trying to get some hair for a hair show. Um, this is Kasim's first day going to therapy. That's probably the biggest thing to know. And Kasim is the son. Um, yes, mom. The usual exasperation. Excuse me, that's not the page we on. We are on. Hey, I waited for him to meet my eyes. I know you're nervous. I'm not nervous. He slides his glance away. I don't think we'll have anything to talk about. There's nothing wrong with me. I talk to someone all the time. Do you think there's something wrong with me? Wide brown eyes snapped in mine. No, there's nothing wrong with you, Mom. I just meant I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize, baby. I reach back and place my hand on his knee. Sometimes we have a lot of feelings that we don't know what to do with, you know? He hesitates, but then nods. Pulling at a thread on the shorts, Dr. Abrams says feelings come out one way or another, and that's the fact I just told somebody to allow themselves to release their feelings, because if you don't, they're gonna come out at a very inappropriate time and you're gonna be out here looking crazy. Like when I said I cried in the interview. Oh God. We may snap at the barista at Starbucks or yell at our kids or kick our dog. If somebody kicks Otis, Kasim says with a tiny twitch of his lips, he'll kick them back. You're probably right. Otis is not the one to mess with. My point is, sometimes when we don't know our feelings, we point them in the wrong direction. Or if they do stay inside, they start to make us feel bad. Yup. And that's where we get dis-ease. We want you to understand some of what you, excuse me, might be feeling about Aunt Bird, about Henry, about anything that's been going on in your mind. So I don't kick Otis. His small smile is still somewhat uneasy, but at least he seems a little more relaxed. Something like that. Yeah. I just want you to know that the things you feel sometimes about them being gone, I feel them too. But you're okay, right, Mom? The uncertainty in his voice makes him sound even younger than he is. I wonder how my struggles have affected my kids just now. It's probably the first time she just said that. How, even when I tried to hide my utter inability to deal with the world, they may have sensed it. They know may have. They were there and watched it. I could drown in guilt, wondering how I may have added to Kasim's fears, or I can do my part to ally them. No one is always okay, Seem. I take his hand. Life is not always about being okay. It's about getting help when we aren't, about letting our family and friends help us, letting people like Dr. Cabot help us. You know what I mean? Daddy, not always okay. A part of me wants to scream that no, Daddy is not always okay, even though he seems like it. Just because someone never asked for help doesn't mean they don't need it. Like I said, I tell Kasim, no one is always okay, but your father is one of the strongest people I know. He'll always be here for you. We both will. His face lights up, but before I can congratulate myself on my impressive mommy wisdom, he says, Dad. I follow his line of vision over my shoulder and spot Josiah's black Range Rover parked a few spots away. Kasim undoes his seatbelt and scrambles out of the car. More slowly, I follow. I want to give them a few moments together, but I also want time to compose myself. Josiah always looks good, of course, but today he's dressed for the conference. The impeccably tailored suit molds to his broad shoulders and fits the powerful muscles of his legs. The unyielding lines of his face soften when Kasim reaches him. He cups our son's neck and bends to kiss his forehead. And there's a part of me at the core that melts, even at our lowest points. I could never doubt Josiah's love for Deja and Kasim. I thought you had to speak at a conference, I hear Kasim say when I'm within earshot. Yeah, I do, Josiah says. I actually have two sessions, one this morning and the other one is about an hour, so I can't stay long. He glances from Kasim's upturned face to mine, and his features shudder. The warmth in his eyes cooling. The vulnerability that used to be reserved for the three of us, Kasim, Deja, and me, I don't get anymore. I lost the privilege of his feelings, his body, his heart, or rather, I forfeited those intimacies when I asked for a divorce. You did. Hey, I bite my lip and slide my hands into the pockets of my jeans. I didn't expect to see you here. I had to see my boy, he says, shifting his face back to Kasim and gifting him a dazzling smile. I figured you'd be fine, but just in case you were a little nervous, I wanted to check on you. You doing okay? Mhm. Yeah, Kasim angles a look up at me, but mom says that it's okay to not be okay. She said no one is always okay. Josiah doesn't hesitate, nodding and bending a little to catch Kasim's eye. She's right. You too? Kasim whispers, his voice so low I barely catch it. In the small silence following Kasim's question, I wanted to drag Josiah's side and beg him to let down his walls just this once, to at least pretend he hurts like the rest of us mortals, so his son doesn't feel alone. I'm starting to think that she expects people to convey their hurt the same way as her. Because I don't get this dude is not acting like he's not hurt. He just ain't go to therapy. Me too. Josiah squeezes Kasim's shoulder, that unique tenderness he withholds from everyone except our kids, gleaming in his dark eyes. Remember, I'm going to talk to a therapist too. When? Kasim's smile is stretched wide with hope and eagerness. Monday, Josiah answers. How about you tell me how yours goes and I'll tell you about mine? Okay, Kasim beams. Deal. Josiah glances at his watch. I have to get back soon, so let's go before I have to leave. Oh, you're coming inside, I ask? Yeah, he grins down at Kasim. You ready, son? Still wearing his uniform, Kasim practically skips between us as we walk towards the building housing Dr. Cabot's office. The waiting area is decorated in warm hues of honey and coriander, spiced with fidget toys, puzzles, and a huge aquarium built into the wall. Kasim is winning at a staring contest with a blowfish when the connecting doors open and a man in his late 30s or early 40s emerges. His sandy hair is neatly trimmed. His eyes are still deciding whether they should be brown or green. He extends his hand to Josiah and then me. Good to see you again, Kasim. A gentle smile touches his mouth when he looks down at our son. Yeah, Kasim says. I mean, yes, sir. We're just going to get to know each other some today. You and me. Dr. Cabot gestures to the door he just walked through. How does that sound? Kasim's nod is halting, but he says, yeah, okay. I have to go, son, Josiah says. We'll talk tonight, okay? Okay, Dad. Love you, scene. I say, hoping I sound like a perfectly normal person when I really just want to hurl myself at Dr. Cabot and beg him to take care of my boy. Love you, Mom. Kasim walks ahead of Dr. Cabot and the door closes behind them both. Are you okay? Josiah asked, the first strand of amusement evident in his voice since he arrived. Barely. I sink into the leather sofa and dig around for gum in my purse so I can safely gnaw my anxiety. Thanks for coming. I know that meant a lot to him. I knew he'd be nervous, and I wanted him to know I'm living up to my end of the bargain. Though you don't actually expect me to get anything out of it, right? I asked Glenn, though you don't actually expect to get anything out of it, right? I asked, glancing up to search his face. He quirks one thick brow at me. Why you always throwing shade? I'm not saying therapy isn't beneficial to anyone. I just don't think it's for me, which it can be because it wasn't the best for me. I need other systems. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. Mhm. Which based on all those times. I'm doing this for Kasim, but I have no expectations. Let's talk later to see how his first session went. Gotta go. No expectations. That's not how I felt in my first session. I had high hopes. The first therapist could fix me, could dispel the dark cloud hanging over my head every day when I woke up. Not only did she not do any of those things, but in some ways she made me feel worse, which is why therapy isn't for everyone. Sometimes finding a good therapist creates even more stress. I knew the problem couldn't lie with her when, after 6 weeks of seeing her, I felt no better. So I had to be the problem. And when the other 2 months with the second therapist didn't yield any results, it only reinforced the idea that buzzed in my head like a chainsaw. I would never be fixed. I would never feel happy again. I'd be the burden and the embarrassment to my family and my friends. That little voice kept whispering things would never get better. I divorced the man always loved because with him, fighting with him, resenting him, hurting too much, and that had not made it better. What a waste. What a failure. There was nothing wrong with those first two therapists. We just weren't the right fit. Dr. Abrams was, and it took her a long time to help me silence that voice, to turn off the chainsaw, cutting me up inside. But when I was able to, what a relief. And that was what I want for Kasim. The assurance that his fears are normal, that he's okay, even when he's not all the way okay. I stare sightlessly at the fish navigating the fabricated waterway world, my mind swimming with thoughts of Josiah and what this step might mean for him, but mostly wondering how Kasim is doing on the other side of that door with a stranger poking around in his mind and heart. My phone rings, jarring me from the swirl of my own contemplation. Hendrix, hey, I'm the only one in the waiting room, so I stay seated for the call. What's up? Any luck? Oh, yeah, we found the hair. We're going to do mani pedis too. That okay? Oh, well, sure. I lick my lips, fingers tighten on the phone. That sounds like fun. Awesome. And we're still going to run by Ruby's, if that's all right. Of course, get that girl some neck bones. We chuckle together, Hendrix's usual cackle sounding easy and natural, while mine feels like it's being strained through a colander. Deja and I used to get our nails done together. We had mommy daughter days all the time. Now I can't remember the last time she voluntarily spent time with me. Thank you, Hen, I say, beating it. Really? Girl, it ain't nothing. Hendrix pauses. She's a good kid. I know you two are going through something, but I see you in her so much and you're doing a great job, even if it doesn't feel like it. I close my eyes and let the simple praise wash over me. Let it sink down deep and reach the doubt and guilt that seem to live just beneath the surface. Thank you for everything. Take your time. I'll see you guys whenever you're done. The door opens and Kasim appears with Dr. Cabot. Hey, Hen, gotta go. Seems out. Love. Love you. Bye. I stand and cross over to Kasim, cupping his chin and scanning his face as if I could detect any change in his eyes after one 45-minute session. How'd it go? I asked Dr. Cabot. Good. He smiles down at Kasim. Just getting to know each other today. All right, I say. So what do you think so far, Kasim? He shrugs. It's cool. Can we go though? There's a Halo tournament this afternoon. Of course. I grab my purse from the waiting room chair and give him the key fob. You go to the car. I'll be right out. Through the window, I watch him cross the small parking lot, excuse me. The lights on my car flash when he unlocks it, and he climbs in. I turn to Dr. Cabot, forcing myself not to unleash a barrage of questions. So what are we dealing with? I ask him. It really was just a day to get to know each other, Dr. Cabot said. We didn't dive deep, but it's obvious he has a good bit of uncertainty about the future and a lot of understandable feel about losing people he loves. Even if we decide he shouldn't skip the grade, I'm glad you brought him in. I know the value of a safe space to share your thoughts and burdens. It's great you got him here to talk things through. It's so affirming. Even that slightest sprinkle of praise, it makes me realize how arid I've been inside, how badly I've needed watering. Dr. Abram always said I need to be kinder to myself. Based on the way I responded to first Hendrix and now Dr. Cabot reinforces that I'm doing a good job as a mom, I think she might be right. I'm gonna get a little drink. We're on chapter 12 now. If you want to catch up, TikTok, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you already know. Because I don't think we on, we not on Facebook tonight. Excuse me. Oh, shit. Chapter 12, Josiah. So tell me a little about yourself. Seriously, what do you want to know? I asked the therapist seated across from me in a leather recliner, identical to the one I'm sitting in. The intake form you completed told me a lot about the things that have happened to you. Dr. Musil replies, resting his elbows on the arms of the recliner and steepling his fingers. But not much about your life, if that makes sense. If the intake form told you what's happened to me, don't you then know about my life? Dark brows raised above his black rimmed glasses. Not necessarily. Someone else could have lost both parents at a really, really young age, lost the caretaker who raised them, lost a child and a marriage, all in a matter of a year or so, and processed it completely different. There are infinite doors to choose when we lose things and people that are important to us. A million ways to grieve, which I just said about the wife. I think she's trying to expect grieving to look like hers, but that it looks different all the time. I'd like to know which doors you chose. A harsh chuckle rattles in my throat at his unaffected cataloging of my life's shit luck. So we just diving in, huh? I'm a good judge of people. Dr. Musa says, Musa, Mansa Musa, I always think of that, says with a smile, I sense you're a man who likes to get right to it. The locks hanging to his shoulders are peppered with gray, but the face they're pulled away from is relatively unlined. He's probably not that much older than I am. I take in an African mask and art decorating the walls, certificates and degrees intersped between them. Excuse me. I see you're a Morehouse man. I study his undergraduate diploma, bachelor's of art in psychology. I am. You? I was there, yeah, business degree. Nothing like it, huh? He asked, his smile relaxing around the shared experiences specific to HBCUs that others wouldn't fully grasp. And that's the truth. Nothing like the house. Nope. I shift my gaze to his other degrees from Emory and Yale. Looks like you're a smart man. All those degrees gonna tell you what's wrong with me? Do you think there's something wrong with you? No, nothing wrong with me. I cross my ankle over my knee, eyeing the box of tissues on the table beside him with amusement. Won't be needing that. No disrespect to what you do here, but I don't need this. I'm doing it for my son. Your son is doing therapy vicariously through you? He quirks a small grin. Didn't know that was a thing. What I mean is, my son was anxious about talking to someone and wanted me to see he had nothing to worry about. That's fine for people to go to therapy, so I'm modeling it for him. Do you have an attendance card you need me to sign to show him you came? And maybe we can just discuss the Falcons' chances this season or reminisce about homecomings and the good old days on the yard during our session since there's no real work we have to do here. His sarcasm pulls a reluctant smile from me. I really don't mean to insult what you do. My ex-wife, has benefited a lot from this stuff. She swears by it. Whatever helps the people I care about, I'm all for it. How about we start there? Start where? Your ex-wife. You indicated on your intake form that you've been divorced for almost 2 years. How's that been? I stiffen. It's one thing to come here for a few sessions until Kasim feels comfortable, but it's another for a stranger to start digging in caves I've filled with boulder-sized stones. It's fine. She's fine. She's gotten the help she's needed. I shift, placing both feet on the floor. We make a great team, raising our kids together, run our business together. It's all good. It sounds very progressive and amicable. Why wouldn't it be? We didn't want to sacrifice our kids, the business we worked for so hard to build, just because she didn't. I cleared my throat. Because we didn't want to be married anymore. So did she want the divorce or did you want it or was it mutual? He picks up his pad. It's rarely actually mutual. Very rarely. Do you ask these intrusive kinds of questions with all your clients in the first session? Irritation prickles beneath my collar, heating my neck. I do. Have some kind of kid gloves around here. He makes a show of searching the office. I could use those if you prefer, but it sounds like you don't plan to come many sessions. Figured it'd be better to make the most of the time we have. We stare at each other for a few seconds in silence that grows tighter the longer it stretches out. I'm determined not to break it, not to give him anything, because why would I? I don't know this motherfucker from Adam, and he wants to dig around my head, drag out all the shit I store in neat compartments so I can find some measure of peace. He wants to shake all that up, but he wouldn't have to live with the fallout. I would. Tell me a little about your ex-wife. He finally says to break our silence. What's her name? I don't relax. Don't take my eyes off him like he's a hunter setting a trap, and I might stumble in if I'm careless. Her name is Yasmin. I sit back and fold my arms over the middle. Why did you marry her? Because she was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's bad enough I let that thought out of his cage and into the common area of my mind. The hell I'm saying that shit out loud. It's naive, romantic nonsense. And the version of me who first met Yasmin, who fell in love with her almost on sight may be able to get away with that sappy bullshit. But the guy who watched her leave in increments every day for a year, who begged her to stay and had to accept that she would go, that guy doesn't get to indulge in soft, squishy thoughts about my ex-wife. I know that's right. I wanted to fuck her every day for the rest of my life. I have joked. She's that beautiful. Is that a good enough reason? The answer, though, absolutely true, leaves so much out, and I can recognize an abridged version when he hears it. Hmm. He huffs a laugh, shaking his head. If that's true, and that's all you had together, then I'm not surprised you divorced her. Must have gotten old. I know what you're doing. This reverse psychology routine. Nah, doesn't work on me. Reverse psychology assumes that posing the opposite belief will persuade someone to share that. Oh, shit. Give me a second. Google opened up. Reverse psychology assumes that posing the opposite belief will persuade someone to share the actual one. If that were the case, you're saying I believe your marriage was based on more than just how badly you want to fuck your wife. He pulls a folder from under his pad, flipping it open. So did you get tired of her? Maybe she let herself go after 2 pregnancies. 3. I amend automatically. 3 pregnancies. The remainder, the remainder of yet, the reminder of yet another loss, though spoken so quietly, lands in the room with a thud. Of course, 3. He says, his tone softening. I don't want to give him this, but there's something inside of me that fundamentally resists anyone talking about Yaz, about what we had in such dismissive terms, even if I did start it. She didn't let herself go, as you put it, but it wouldn't have mattered if she had. I wouldn't have cared. She knew that. So tell me what happened. We hit a bit of a rough patch, which you already know. I wave a hand at the fold in his lap, which flattens a lifetime of pain into a sheaf of paper and ink when it was just bulbous thing that would have consumed my whole existence if I let it. It's safer pressed between the pages than free to roam and ravage. I've learned over 3 years that kind of pain must be contained. Talk a little about losing your aunt. Eyeing him warily, I tense in the seat. What do you want to know? Whatever you want to tell me. That sounds like a cop-out, I mutter, but I allow a half grin. He wears the other half of my grin and shrugs one shoulder. Maybe, but I'd rather you tell me what feels right at the surface for you. If I need to dig, I will. Fair enough. She raised me. I was only 8 years old when my parents died in a car crash. A pile up on the interstate. I rubbed my hands across my face. She was my dad's older sister. We lived in Texas. I only met her a few times, but she stepped right away. She stepped up right away because there was no one else. I would have gone into the system if she hadn't brought me back to Atlanta with her. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's admirable. How was your relationship with her? I can't fight the smile that spreads over my face. Thinking of Bird brings pain, but I won't disregard the joy she brought not only to my life, but to everyone she knew. She was not your typical guardian. She probably gave me so much leeway because she was really independent and hated people telling her what to do. My smile peters out, the crushing reality of her absence crowding back in. We were family, but we were also friends. I clear my throat, staring down at my black short boots. She was there, and then she was just gone. Massive heart attack. I found her. Now that stuff be traumatic. when you find a loved one unalived. I went through that and I understand how I'm surprised he even remembered that. I blacked that out. I needed help to bring that thought back to the forefront so I can heal from that trauma. So I guess maybe he'll do it too. I'm sorry, Josiah. That had to be hard. Yeah, she was in the kitchen. A hoarse laugh escapes me. Food was that woman's love language. Best cook I ever met. Best person I ever met. She used to carry unopened packs of socks and underwear in all sizes around in her car. So when homeless people asked for money, like at stoplights or whatever, she could offer them. She sounds fantastic. She was. I saw a homeless woman downtown the other day. She didn't have on shoes. Her clothes were, she was obviously on hard times. And all I could think of was, what would Bird do? How would she help? Yasmin still rides around with socks and underwears in the middle of her console because of that. They were close, your ex-wife and Bird. She was like a second mom to Yaz. They were extremely close. The first time my aunt met Yasmin, she said, "Don't let this one get away." And what did you say? My smile fades. Bitterness hardens the lines of my mouth. I said never. But she did get away. Joke's on me. If you don't mind me asking, how far along was your ex-wife when she lost the baby? 36 weeks? I gripped the arms of the recliner. She was in the restaurant alone, closing up. I told her, I shake my head and I slam my teeth together to stifle the words. That may sound like I blame Yasmin for what happened. I don't. I asked her to let someone else lock up, but Yasmin was always in the mix. She had such a great pregnancy. No complications. It never occurred to her something like that could happen. Didn't occur to me either. I was away. I rolled my shoulders trying to relieve the tension, wishing I could roll off this guilt. Shit. Isn't our time up yet? Like, is it time to go? We just started, Dr. Musa said. You were saying you were away? Where were you? I was at this stupid convention in Santa Barbara. If I if ever I could take something back, it would be going on that trip. Yasmin wasn't due yet, and we both agreed it would be best for Grits if I attended. But I had a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach as soon as that plane took flight. I kept texting and calling to make sure she was all right. By then, we already unburied. Maybe it was the fragility of life that made me anxious, having just lost someone I loved so much. Maybe it was the premonition. Whatever it was, it kept me up the first night in the hotel. The next day, when the hospital called to say Yasmin had lost a baby, one fire torch thought ran through my mind. I should have been there. If I'd been there, she wouldn't have been closing. The restaurant wouldn't have been empty. She wouldn't have fallen. Those precious moments wouldn't have been lost with her cell phone in another room while Henry wasn't getting air. And then he was gone. Do you want to talk about the trip to Santa Barbara, Josiah? Dr. Musa asked, his soft, kind voice cutting into the ride of my thoughts. I swallowed past the emotion, scorching my throat. See, this is why I don't do that shit. This is why I leave well enough alone. But is it really well enough? Do you think the losses you experienced so close together contributed to the failure of your marriage? A rough chuckle rattles my throat. You could say that. I knew things were really bad, but one night she just, one night she just, I used to alternate between blocking the events of the night, Yasmin ended things, and playing them over and over in my head, analyzing if there was anything I could have done or said differently that would have changed the outcome, that would have saved us. Do you want to talk about that night? Dr. Musa asked. We have plenty of time. Hell no. Why would I want to unpack one of the most painful nights of my life with this stranger? My mouth is open and the refusal rests on the tip of my tongue, but an image intrudes, shakes my absolute certainty that this dude can't do a damn thing for me. It's Kasim, walking into Dr. Cabot's office, looking back over his shoulder at his mom and me, nervous, scared, uncertain, but assured because Yasmin said it was okay not to be okay. You too, Dad? Me too. I cleared my throat, swallowing the sharp pain I had planned for Dr. Musa, and looked down at my hand, gripping my knees. Do you want to talk about that night? Dr. Musa repeats, his voice quiet, like I'm some skittish animal who might bolt. Sure, I finally answer, hoping I don't regret this. What do you want to know? Dr. Musa glances at his watch, smiles. We may have time for everything. Chapter 13. We got a little more. And we get this part. Josiah. Then I drive home from Grit slowly, barely registering all the things that so captivated us about Scotland when we first moved here. My mind is still buzzing from the day that started before the sun was up and ended long after it was down. I turn onto First Court, our street lined with well-manicured lawns, neatly trimmed bushes, fronting seven-figure homes. It had been the perfect setting for our ambitions. You don't live in the heart of Scotland without paying the price for the location, and the price was high. Had things gone according to plan, we'd had no problem paying that price. But things went to shit, and our mortgage has become an albatross hanging around my neck, mentally drowning me in a sea of bills and past due notices. I almost missed the white paper pinned to the garage door. What the hell? I mutter, taking in slightly overgrown grass and shabby bushes. The landscapers who services most of the houses on our street scheduled to come today. I get out the car and snatch the note. Check bounce. It's scribbled on the grass, stained paper, stark and offensive. A muddy trail of shame and fury winds through me. I haven't bounced a check since college, and now that I live on the street of $1 million homes, it happens. I put my phone to my check. I pull out my phone to check our balance. Sure enough, our account was overdrawn. To save money while we're finding our footing again in Bert's absence, Yasmin and I took pay cuts. It made sense, especially since she's barely been to Grits since we lost Henry. With our reduced revenue, I had to trim fat somewhere, and I wasn't going to reduce pay for our staff. They have families, responsibilities. We can weather this better than they can. Or I thought we could. Pulling Deja and Kasim out of Harrington would feel like yet another admission of failure. But we may have to do it. I crumple the paper in my fist, my emotions as tangled as these bushes. My life is overgrown and unkept. One more thing I have to deal with tomorrow. I walk into our dream house and immediately want to turn around and leave. The curtains are hung with hurt here. The floors are waxed with it. It lingers heavy and pungent in the air. I'd rather work at Grits 14 hours a day than to do the work of grief waiting in this home. The last few months have been a sinkhole. Of course we need time, but there's something so dark and cold and desolate about this place Yasmin's in now. I can't reach her. I want to grab her and drag her back into our life, or what's left of it. I want to beg her to remake it with me, to rebuild this restaurant's reputation with me. We've always been partners. Am I being selfish to want her at my side again? Or am I just being lonely, frustrated, bitter, all of the above? Yeah, all the above. I hate myself for feeling like this. I blow out a harsh breath, shoulders drooping from the day and from what's left of the night. The staircase may as well be Mount Everest. I poked my head into this kid's rooms. Each one of them sleeps peacefully. It's hard to protect them from how we're falling apart because if we're not treading in freezing, silent water, we're thrashing in hot springs, screaming the house down. I can't believe this is us. We said we'd ride for each other till the wheels fell off. Lately, our marriage feels like a blowout. Both of us grabbing at the wheel, tires screeching, spinning out of control. Every day narrowly avoiding a cataclysmic crash. When I when I check our bedroom, it's empty. I know she's in the nursery. My shoes have concrete soles when I take the few steps to the room at the end of the hall we used as a home office before we needed it for the baby. I suggested we store the nursery furniture until we figure out what to do with it. We need to repaint, move the desk and the printer back, wipe away all traces of what we hoped this room would be. But Yasmin would flip if I even suggested it. I stand in the door to the room watching her, still in the rocker, like she left her body behind and is somewhere else. A carousel lamp we bought after Deja's first ultrasound sits on the table, slowly turning, spreading light and throwing shadows on the walls. Babe, fatigue makes endearment gravely on my lips. It's late. Come to bed. I honestly can't blame her for choosing any place other than that cold stretch of mattress in our bedroom. In the king-size bed, our bodies don't touch anymore. But it feels like it's not big enough for two of us and the ghost who hogged the covers. She doesn't turn her head to look at me, her gaze remaining fixed on the wall. My heart seizes in my chest every time I see cursive writing, Yasmin's handwriting, a cheerful baby blue against the dark gray paint we selected for Henry's nursery. I know the plans I have for you, and I give you hope and a future. Deja and Kasim each had a nursery rhyme for their wall, but Yasmin saw this verse on a greeting card somewhere, Jeremiah 29:11, and wanted to use it for Henry. Do you ever think about him? Yasmin asked, still not looking at me, her voice frighteningly steady. I lean against the wall and cross my arms over my chest, a flimsy guard for a broken heart I haven't figured out how to articulate. Of course I do. You never talk about him. Accusation still her soft words. You've never cried for him. I have no defense for that because she's right. As much as it makes you hurt to lose Henry, as much pain sawed in my insides, no tears ever fell. Not even at his funeral with a casket so tiny it broke me in half to think of him inside. No tears, no cracks. At first, I convinced myself I was being strong for everyone, but then I realized I couldn't cry. As acutely as I hurt inside, my inability to express it made me feel like a robot, like a monster. And that's how Yasmin looks at me when she finally turns her head to meet my eyes, like I'm some kind of android who couldn't possibly empathize with her pain. She twists her fingers in silky fabric of a nightgown, not nightgown, negligee. Something I haven't seen in a long time. No, never. A negligee I've never seen? Is it new? Did she buy something new? A sexy new thing for her? For me? For us? Skimpy and barely covering her generous curves, the silk clings to the swell of her hips and strains at her breast. She rises, abandoning the rocker, and crossing the room to stand in front of me. I will myself to stay on the wall, now pounce on her the way my instincts demand. The carousel lamp casts soft, lambent light across her body, touching the gentle slope of her shoulders beneath tiny straps, caressing the full roundness of her breasts and her nipples peeking beneath the silk. I want her fast, right here. So hard and deep we dent the wall. I'd come quickly because it's been too long. And then we'd stumble to bed and do it again. Slow, savoring each because I almost forgot the taste and sound of her pleasure. It would take all night to remind me. It's like she can read my thoughts. Promise shimmers like gold dust in the night. Dark eyes. She steps so close I smell scented oil. She adds to a bath and runs through her hair. She pushes my arms down and stands flush against me, body to body, her breast pressing against my chest. She tips on her toes, hold my stares, and angles her mouth to catch mine. First top lips between hers and the bottom. Deliberately she slips her tongue inside, retching a groan for me. This is our ritual, a gentle kiss, a gentle sucking, a slow licking hunger, I love kissing her. Always have. Not as a prelude to sex. Not with her. Just the act of tasting, touching her lips, loving her one stroke and one breath at a time. Sigh, she gasped into my mouth. The words withered in mint and boldness. Her body is fuller since her last pregnancy. Her breast rounder, heavier. I test the weight of them in my hand and thumb, her nipple reverently. Those are the only words I can manage because this is all I've wanted and haven't been able to make myself ask for. Not when she's been so sad. Not when the world has been on fire and every ship sinking. I knew sex couldn't be the most important thing. Her getting better, feeling better, that was paramount. But I was wrong because this feels urgent. The scrape of her teeth across my lip, essential. The sweep of her tongue inside my mouth, necessary. Every breath feels like a gasp before dying, and my heart races, speeds to catch up with the desperation of her hands caressing my chest, of her fingers, sure and steady at my zipper. Finish this paragraph. I drag the zipper gown up her thigh, envisioning the firm, naked legs wrapped around my waist. I appreciate you, TikTok. Thank you. If you just got in, I'm about to wrap it up though. I hesitate, knowing where I want to touch her, but still unsure that she wants it. It's been so long, and this is the first time she's been interested in sex. All right. I'll finish this page. Yes, she breathes, scattering kisses all over my jaw, sucking at my neck. Touch me there. I slip my fingers over her and then inside. I pause. I know how she feels when she wants this. She's wet and slippery and slick when she wants me. And suddenly the heat drains away. The new negligee, the way she's freshly waxed and smooth between the legs, even the mint in her breath at midnight. It all feels calculated, deliberate, not desperate, wrong, not raw. She pulls back the smallest bit to study my face in the dim light, a frown pulling between her brows. Come on, why? I demand, even though I know. I dread her answer. Have avoided this conversation, but knew we'd have to have it. One more fight. Why? She laughs and is breathless, nervous. She looks down at the floor, catching her bottom lip between her teeth. I want another baby. No. The word torpedoes from me, startling us both. Her wide eyes meet mine. No more babies. No more losses. No more death. No more risk. No more grief. Yasmin, the doctor said, what? She inserts another inch or two between us, her frown morphing into scorn. That is a risk that I might die. It's ejected from my soul, bounces off Hendry's nursery walls. Yes. Is that what you want this family to go through? Another death? She ignores that, presses back into me, in the set of her mouth, in the sureness of her hand reaching between us to grab me. There was a confidence that my desire, the way I always want her, will override anything else, will obliterate my objections. And there was a time when that soft femininity, the perfect weight of her against me, would have been enough. But when she reaches between us, I know what she'll find. All right, so we're going to wrap that up. It's been a blast. We had a good session. I hope you all enjoyed Thursday Night Book Club. I'm glad we're getting to him. Yeah, so I know she probably felt ultra rejected when he said no, but yeah, he definitely was in grief. And he definitely wasn't given the space to grieve the way he needed to. But hopefully you can catch us Tuesday for our live energy readings and more. If not, I'll see you Thursday again for book club. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a great Friday, because I plan to, and I hope you do too. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support, and I will see you people next week after I cut off TikTok. Boop, boop, doop.